Howdy everybody. Welcome back to HT's EDC, and we are coming at you from the back patio this Saturday morning. It is nice and sunshiny here. We were able to get outside, and to be honestly, it has been about good week and a half since I've had a nice sit down and partook of a nice stogie. And I said, man, opportunity has shown itself, so we're gonna get out there and get after it. And got a nice, pretty cool knife that I picked up at the blade show from a few weeks back now. Got another one that I'm gonna show you guys this morning. If you've seen this thumbnail, it's called Staggish and a Stogie. So yeah, it's close. It's not the real stuff, but I think it's a pretty cool piece. But anyway, the stogie part of all this, we are gonna be smoking today, puffing on a good old sweet cigar this morning. And this is none other, if I can get it around here, called a Fat Bottom Betty. Fat Bottom Betty. And that is definitely one of the, I think it's now 5 sisters in this line from Drew Estates. They are a flavored line that Drew Estates makes, and some people like the flavored cigars, some don't. I do enjoy them, especially with a nice cup of morning coffee or something, a dessert, a sweet dessert. I definitely think the flavored cigars have their place, and I do enjoy them. So this morning we are going to, and this is a Toro, by the way, if that'll come in, Fat Bottom Betty Toro. I think this is a 6-inch Toro here, so if anybody's wanting to know about the size. But we're gonna get into this thing, get it out of this sleeve. Very nice smell on these things. Has a little end cap here. We'll go ahead and slide that off, get rid of that. And today, folks, for this one, for you people that are not real familiar with cigars, now you cigar aficionados are probably gonna balk at me on this one. I know there's more than 3 kinds of cutters, but mainly I think this is a pretty accurate statement. There's 3 main derivatives of cutters. I know there's a bunch. I'm using a V-notch today. You have seen me use a guillotine cutter before, which is just simply, it cuts the whole length of the cap of the cigar, just shears it off in one guillotine cut. You have seen me do a punch cut, where it punches a hole in the end of the cigar. And today we're going to do a V-notch, which cuts that nice notch right there. And I know there's different types of V-notch, different types of V-notch cutters. Folks, this is a V-notch. I'm not that deep into it to tell you all that, but the 3 main type of cutters, I think most people, if you give me a pass on this, are guillotine, punch, and some form derivative of a V-notch. So we're going to get in here and we're going to V-notch this Betty this morning. So we get in here nice and even, and folks, that is a nice deep V-notch. You see that? That is our cut. I always like to give it a kind of a dry draw or two. But folks, we are going to get at it. And I have got a new little handy dandy insert. You guys have seen this Zippo lighter on my channel before, has my name on it. But I have got now a new butane insert on this one that's going to help a little bit with my cigar lighting, especially when it's windy outside. It's going to give a nice stiff flame, and we're going to try this new Zippo insert out this morning. It did very good. Maybe just need just a little bit more. very good. You see how quick that was this morning? Loving that new insert. Anyway, we have the sweet fat bottom Betty for a stogie. We're off. We're lit. Some good old cup of Joe here. Very nice pairing. And folks, what does this taste like as far as the flavor notes? This is a flavored cigar. It is very sweet taste wise. It doesn't taste like coffee. I guess it would. Maybe a breakfast pastry. It's very sweet. It's a flavored cigar. Like I say, very polarizing. Some cigar people can't stand the flavors. I like them both. I guess I'm kind of a cigar. Definitely not a aficionado, I suppose, yet at by any stretch. But I like a good flavored cigar. I like I have the appreciation for the finer tobaccos too, and the unflavored stuff, no doubt. But I would say this kind of tastes like a morning pastry. And hey, paired with a nice cup of coffee, I don't see how you can go wrong with that. Maybe, I wouldn't say as much as a donut, but maybe like a cinnamon roll or something like that. Just a very sweet draw on this one. So, we are lit. We are going on the Fat Bottom Betty Toro this morning. And let's get into the Staggish knife this morning, folks. This is one of my recent finds at the Longview, Texas Gun and Knife Show. And I think this thing is cool as a cucumber. Of course, what we have here is faux stag or stagalon, which is made of, if you guys are familiar with Delrin, this is a form of Delrin. It is a polymer. It is made to look like stag. And to be honest, what y'all think? I've seen a lot worse. I like how this stag kind of, if you see here where it's dark in the middle and it goes to the light out here, it kind of blends into it a little bit. I don't know if that's showing up. Kind of have a little bit of burnt edges right here on this dark. It's not stag, folks. It's stagalon. It is a composite, but I think they did a good job. It feels nice. There's definitely nice ridges in this, folks. It's going to have a good texture, a good feel in your hand. And I know I haven't mentioned this yet. Maybe we can get that to focus here on camera. That shield right there. This is an old Camillus USA Canoe. I'm sure most of you knife guys knew this is a Canoe pattern. And if you don't, I'm pretty sure you can see by this chassis here why they call this knife the Canoe. Kind of looks like an old Indian canoe right here. You see that? Where these bolsters curve up. You have kind of a flat, slow moving curve here. And then you come back up into the other bolster. If you take this blade away, which I'll do momentarily, you look like you got a canoe there. So that is where the name came from. And since we have this thing open, this is what we're working with, folks. This was a run that Camillus USA, that tang stamp, by the way, says, I'm sure it won't come in, but that says Camillus, New York, USA. So this is when the good old Camillus knives, was ran here up in New York in the States. And this is a collaboration they did with Buckmasters. You deer hunters out there, you guys know old Jackie Bushman, the TV host. He has a Buckmaster magazines. He had a TV show called Buckmasters, a big name in the deer hunting world. And evidently Camillus ran this knife in collaboration with Buckmasters. Is an etch on there. You know how I stand on etches. I'm not really huge on etched blades, but I am a deer hunter. I'm definitely not a buckmaster. I've taken a few in my day, but I guess if you were, there could have been a lot worse things to put on a blade if you wanted to etch HT's blade than a nice buckmaster scene with a white-tailed deer. But anyway, coming around the backside is completely sterile. Nothing, there is nothing on the tang stamp and nothing on the blade. So all of your tang stamp marking and your etching is all here on the show side of this beautiful, in my opinion, spearpoint blade. And you guys know old HT loves him a good spearpoint. I got this out last night, oiled it, cleaned the joints real well, and I sat down and put an edge on this thing, and this thing is screaming sharp now, ready to go. And I just think this is a beautiful knife, folks. If you look at this, like I say, if you're not thrown by that etching there, if you could look past that etching, the people that can't stand the etching, and just look at the lines of this knife with that beautiful spear point, I think it's awesome. Can't let my Betty go out here. One more draw of some Joe here. But anyway, folks, this is the Camillus / Buckmasters collaboration here, Canoe knife. And we do have a secondary blade here. Go ahead and get this thing open where you can see the whole nine here. For a secondary blade down here, we have a good old pen blade here. What is a pen blade good for? Nail maintenance. Some guys, I'm sure you're going to say, well, HT, there's fingernail files for that, but a lot of us good old guys, we get those nails dirty and we get after them with a little blade. But something like this would be good for your envelope opening. Small task. I mean, look at the size of it, guys. This is not your main, this is a secondary blade, and it is very secondary. I think this is about 1.5 inches long here on this little pen blade. But folks, it's a very effective blade. If you want to open an envelope, you want to quickly pop the top on your Amazon boxes. Lots of little tasks that this little pen blade excels in. I've actually heard a lot of people say that they do some small whittling. I'm not much of a whittler, but I've actually heard people say that this little pen blade, when they're doing their intricate stuff on some whittling or a little bit of carving, that they use the pen blade. I don't know how true that is. I'm sure that's not the main, I'm not saying this is a carving blade or your go-to carving blade, but I've heard a lot of people say that they pop out this, and when they gotta, do some real detail work, the little pen blades do good. Again, I'm not much of a carver, but this is what this guy looks like, fully open with all the blades. To be honest with you, I'll use this, like I say, maybe save my main blade, for more of the slicing and, more of my everyday task. And I'll probably will pop this open to, open mail, to open boxes or Amazon boxes or whatever, new knife boxes, getting in those new knife packages as they come in. And it just preserves, folks, it just preserves your main blade for, bigger tasks, more of your slicing tasks. But let's take a look real quick. We have good snap. All these blades have good life in them. We have a nice nail nick here, but look at that, folks. This is a perfect knife for HT. Look at all that meat you have up here. You can just simply go in and pop that thing open. And what would I say the pull is on this one? I'm going to give that a 5.5. It's a little lighter pull. Sorry, my beanie just keeps fighting me here. That's a little bit lighter than I would like to see. I'd like maybe, it's flirting with a 6. Could I make a 6 out of this? I don't think so. I'm going to be honest. That's somewhere around a 5, 5.5. A little lighter than I like. But folks, This is a light duty knife. Let's be honest. This is not. This is a pocket knife. This is for your urban task. This is not a heavy duty knife. Honestly, for what it is, I can live with a 5-pull, no problem. Does have good snap. It's nothing. Doesn't have any half stops, but folks, good snap ability. Nothing wrong with it. That is completely personal preference. You guys may love a 5, a 5.5, love this pull knife like that. Personal preference all the way. I could stand it a little bit lighter. But yeah, if I hadn't mentioned it, these are stainless steel blades. I'm not sure what blade steel they ran back then. Pretty sure it's going to be some of your 440A, 440B, or 440C. Your 440 stainless. We have nickel silver bolsters here on these Canoe bolsters. Coming around to the back, we have, looks like we have double liners, double brass liners on both sides of those two blades there. But everything looks pretty good and flush. Yep. I could stand to go in there and clean up, and I may do that today, clean up those bolsters a little bit. They're a little bit tarnished on that brass there, but I mean, folks, this is an older knife. This is probably, I think this is probably from early 2000s. So this knife is, you know, getting on 20 years old, or even possibly a little better, but very much in good shape. May, like I say, may shine up these bolsters, may de-tarnish this brass here on these liners. And folks, I think HT will have an outstanding little pocket knife. And about to let my fat bottom Betty go out. That's not a good thing. But anyway, folks, that is my rendition today. The Camillus USA stagalon, Staggish canoe knife today that they ran in collaboration with good old Buckmasters. And I think this is, I didn't show it to you in hand, but folks, yeah, I'm getting all 4 fingers on this thing. I do have to kind of come up here to the choil to do so, but I am definitely landing on this. This knife is like 3 5/8 closed. So you guys that are familiar with the Saudi Juniors, this is just about the length of a Saudi Junior, and I can get all 4 fingers on it. This is about as short of a handle as I like to go, but as you can see, I get on there, and I think this is just going to be a very handsome piece. I was glad to pick this up at the show, and that is my rendition today, folks, for Staggish and a Stogie. So the Fat Bottom Betty Toro, the Camillus Canoe, and a cup of Joe. We're going to sit out here and enjoy it. God bless you guys. I hope y'all are off to an awesome start of your weekend. And we're going to see you on the next one. HT signing out.